Hello guys, and welcome back to one of the most requested videos in the comments. Today's topic will be all the differences between the Alice in Borderland manga and the TV series. And trust me, there are a lot. From game rules to how the characters actually look, there are tons of details worth talking about. So, let's get this video started. One of the most important things the manga does differently is how it introduces our main character. The show presents Arisu as a slacker who spends all his time gaming. But in the manga, his portrayal is entirely different. The story begins with Arisu taking a test and then meeting Chota afterward. And yes, that's how Chota looks in the manga. Sorry if there are any Chota fans here, but at first I honestly thought he was a granny. The manga also depicts them as awkward otakus who don't know how to interact with women. I think this is an important detail in understanding Chota's relationship with Sari. After the two meet, we see another panel showing Arisu at home studying for upcoming exams, while his brother teases him about it. As you can tell, the main character's portrayal is completely different. When the meteor strikes, the three of them aren't in the Shibuya district, like in the show, but at an abandoned train station. They see the fireworks, but afterward, they don't wake up in the same place as they were in real life. They actually find themselves in an old, dusty bar. The first game they play together is also different in the manga. In the show, they play the Three of Clubs game called Dead or Alive, where they meet Saori and a random girl who gets eliminated in the first round. In the manga, they also play a Three of Clubs game, but it's called Good Fortune, Bad Fortune. Yes, it's the same game we later see in Season 3 as Sacred Fortune. The main difference is that the participants are only Arisu, Chota, Karube, and Saori. The rules are slightly different too. In the manga, they only need to draw 4 fortunes since there are only 4 players. The game ends when all the players are dead or if someone fails to draw a fortune before the lanterns go out. Other than that, it's pretty similar except that the fortunes also reveal the direction from which the arrows are shot, like fear the east or fear the north. This was actually a key element in solving the game. Just like in the show, Chota still gets injured, but instead of his leg being burned, he's shot by a flaring arrow. Moving on, the tag game didn't have many differences. The most notable one is that in the manga, they had 30 minutes to find the correct room, not 20 as shown in the series. The Seven of Hearts game is also pretty similar, but there are 2 main differences, the time limit and the helmet design. In the manga, the time limit is 10 minutes instead of 15, and while the show's helmet looked like some complex sci-fi device, in the manga, it's much simpler. Instead of that skeletal structure holding it together, it's just a few wires. This is an important detail because it's later used by Mira during the Queen of Hearts game to manipulate Arisu. In the manga, Arisu doesn't even try to remove his helmet. He only thinks about it after the game is already cleared. Those wires also sparked one of the most popular fan theories about how all the players could have survived the game. In short, once a player becomes a wolf, their wires could be cut so the helmet wouldn't recognize them if they switched back to being a sheep, meaning they'd stay wolves until the end and potentially survive. But as I said, Arisu never even tried. A small trivia fact, in the manga, Arisu actually wins a mutton meal as his prize for clearing the game. Now here's a big difference, and the reason why Season 3 doesn't really make sense. In the manga, Usagi's father actually hangs himself, and Usagi sees his body, which is why she becomes so depressed and gives up on life. But in the show, it's only implied that he's dead. We never see any proof. That small change kept Usagi holding on to hope, which basically becomes the driving plot of Season 3. So, if Netflix had followed the manga from the start, they wouldn't have had a way to twist the story for Season 3 the way they did. Moving on to the Four of Clubs game, this one was wild in the manga. First of all, it's not cleared by Arisu and Usagi. They don't even participate in it. Instead, it's cleared by a character called the Gentle Girl and Kuzuryu. Kuzuryu was the overseer of the game and actually injured his leg during it, but the Gentle Girl helped him complete it. The rules are mostly the same. They have to reach the goal before time runs out, but the time limit in the manga is reduced from 120 minutes to just 50. And instead of a panther or the tunnel flooding, the players must survive 4 trials. After 10 minutes, a cheetah is released. After 20 minutes, an alligator. After 30 minutes, a snowstorm. And after 40 minutes, a huge explosion. The Four of Diamonds game also has some changes. In the show, we saw Anne, Arisu, Quina, and Tada clearing it together, while in the manga, only Anne is shown participating in that game. Another non-face card game that changed quite a bit is the Six of Spades. In the manga, this game doesn't take place in an amusement park. It actually happens in a zoo, which honestly makes more sense. But the biggest difference is that in the manga, only 5 players take part in the game, not the 21 players we saw in the live-action version. Also, this is where Aguni gets his eye scar, but not from a tiger. In the manga, the scar comes from a cheetah attack instead, which is completely different from the show, where he gets injured during the tag game. Another big difference from the manga is the absence of a few key characters, like Dodo and Yuji Mahiru. Maybe Netflix didn't have the budget to include more characters, so they limited the cast as much as possible. Dodo is a heart specialist who helps Arisu clear the Four of Hearts game and also plays a huge role in defeating the King of Spades. Meanwhile, Yuji Mahiru is the player who clears the most numbered games. He also clears the Queen of Clubs and is the one who explores the Borderlands. In the show, his role was basically merged into Anne's character. I believe Netflix went this route partly due to budget constraints, and that's also one of the reasons why they chose to start the show with Dead or Alive instead of Good Fortune, Bad Fortune. The CGI for the original manga game would have been insane, and they clearly didn't dedicate much of their budget to that early on. But in the manga, there aren't really main characters. Every player feels like the main character, because we get deep insights into their stories, struggles, and will to live, which makes the ending much more powerful when they have to choose between becoming a citizen or returning home. Moving on to the face card games, this is where things differ the most. To start with, the Queen of Spades game doesn't even appear in the manga. I think Netflix added it just to give Usagi some extra screen time, since Arisu is the main focus during the Queen of Hearts game. So to balance the two leads, they probably added this extra game. The same goes for the Queen of Clubs game. It's a completely original Netflix edition and serves as fan service for Quina and Anne. But do you want to hear something crazy? The Jack of Hearts game, Solitary Confinement, which became one of the fans' favorite games, was cleared only by Banda and Yaba. That's it. Chishiya doesn't even participate in this game in the manga. I honestly wonder if he'd still be this popular if Netflix had stayed faithful to the manga and left him out of it entirely. Also, in the manga, the Jack of Hearts has a fake eye, which he uses to secretly see his card suits. The wild part is that Banda and Yaba make him lose the game on purpose. The torture he endures is so intense that he accepts death rather than playing one more round. Meanwhile, Chishiya is busy playing the Jack of Diamonds game. This one is mostly the same as in the show, but the key difference is that in the manga, Chishiya himself clears it, not some random player like in the live-action version. The King of Spades game is almost identical, except for how it ends. In the series, the King of Spades dies when Aguni shoots him after the explosion, but in the manga, Aguni kills him by breaking his neck. Also, Arisu and the others aren't there to help him. The ones who clear the game are Aguni, Heya, and Dodo. Dodo is actually the one who figures out that the King of Spades has a radar and tells Heya to destroy it. The last face card game cleared is, of course, the Queen of Hearts. In both versions, the characters deliberately choose to save that one for last. After clearing all the other games, they reunite at the Queen of Hearts venue and decide to play rock, paper, scissors to determine who will face her. In the end, Arisu and Usagi win and go on to clear the game together. As for Season 3, it's a completely original Netflix production, so there's not much to compare with the manga. The only thing worth mentioning is the train game, which was loosely inspired by one from the manga. In the original manga, this game was cleared by Saori and was actually the Two of Hearts game. The main concept was the same. Players had to survive poison gas, but the mechanics were slightly different. There were only 4 players, and each entered a separate train. They were given a mask and 3 oxygen tanks, and instead of 8 train cars like in the show, there were only 4. The goal was to pass through all 4 cars, with no time limit. The solution was also completely different. It didn't involve canaries. Instead, each carriage had a vase of flowers in the center. In the cars filled with fresh air, the flowers were blooming. In the ones filled with poison gas, the flowers were dead. And with that, we've reached the end of our list. I hope I didn't miss any major details and that you enjoyed this breakdown. I highly recommend reading the Alice in Borderland manga, even if you already know the story, because trust me, you'll appreciate it even more. It expands on each player's motivations and moral choices, and it'll make you see the entire series in a completely different light.